So for jungle, the pick of the patch is definitely gonna be Evelynn. This champion is absolutely broken with Mejais and Crown. She is just one-shotting everyone, has snowball potential, is insane. And I played her one time, I had 1100 ability power. Literally one-tapping everyone on the map. This champion is actually the champion of the patch. Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here. In today's video with the tier list for patch 4.4, it's a massive patch. We have so many changes, and if you guys wanna learn and see what are the hot picks right now, like which champions are the best, how are the new items affecting the meta, and how are all these system changes, item changes, etc. Making some certain champions very strong, then you guys have come to the right video. I'm gonna explain to you guys the best champion for every role. For the Baron position, for the Baron lane, for jungle, for mid lane, for ADC as well, and for support as well. And I'm also gonna rank them and give you like the idea what's the pick of the patch. And I've also like I actually changed a lot because I decided to only put like actually really broken champions into S+ tier. I moved a lot of champions into S tier because I felt like they are not like, when I'm thinking, do I have to ban them? Do I ban them? Do I not have to ban them? Maybe for the Baron part I could have done it a bit more differently. But for the other part I decided to move a lot more down. Since Baron is very balanced, so hard to say, but yeah. I can summarize really quickly the changes, by the way. We have, first of all, the new champion Fiddlesticks is coming out. Then we have new items. New items are the crown, and that's the advanced, or like the the crazy version of Banshee's Veil that is gonna give you damage reduction on top of the spell shield. Champunk Chainsword, very good for bruisers. And that item is an anti-heal item and good for bruisers. Otherwise, what's important? Magnetic Blaster. It's kind of the combination of Rapid Fire Cannon and Static Shift, combining the passives kind of together. And Mage Soul Stealer, an insane snowballing AP item. Then we have Oceanid's Trident, which is gonna give you anti-shield. Otherwise, what's also important? I think on Runan's Hurricane they added more. I think they added adaptive damage on Runan's Hurricane as well. Wait, let me see. I think that's a big change as well. And then Death Cap. Death Cap is also changed, that it scales with level now, the passive. Where's Runan's Hurricane? Oh yeah, here. You get adaptive damage and addition on the damage. This item is very good for champions like Twitch and Kale, making them very good. Otherwise, I think these are like the most important changes. Then we have also the Dragon Soul rework. You guys can check out my reaction to the patch notes as well if you guys want to. And yeah, like I said, I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Hope you guys will enjoy this tier list. Make sure to give me feedback about what you guys is good or bad and how you would rank certain champions. And let's get started with the Baron lane. Enough talking, let's get started. Honestly, maybe I should change the S+ here, because I did change it a lot for like every other tier list where I moved a lot of champions down. But if I have to move them down, I'm not sure. They're all, to be honest, Baron is like very balanced in terms of, okay, what is really good right now. Because I don't have a pick of the patch for the Baron lane. I don't think there's one champion that is standing out where I'm like, wow, this is a must ban. I don't think Baron lane itself is that strong in the meta right now. Because people usually don't ban out Baron laners. People never ban out Baron laners right now. It's most of the times junglers that are really broken, or supports. Most of the time. Sometimes some ADCs, like a Kai'Sa maybe, or for mid lane. Vladimir, obviously a huge power pick. But otherwise, I would say, for the Baron lane, I don't think there's a champion where I would actually like target ban. I have to ban it, it's broken. So that's why, I mean, broken, ban God tier worthy broken, but I mean the champion in S+ here obviously very good. So first champion is gonna be Aatrox. Aatrox has tons of sustain, tons of damage as well, and crowd control. On top of that, he's really tanky. Then we have on a very tanky crowd control machine. does a lot of damage as well. Akali also with some of the new AP items, very good. I think Mejais benefits her more in the mid lane because she has more team fight participation, but otherwise, yeah, Crown very good on Akali obviously, and Trident can also be good if they have a lot of shielding. So Akali is one of the best AP assassins in the game, that's why S+ tier. Garen is, what makes him so good is that he is beginner friendly and so good that you can pretty much play him against almost any matchup, because he's just so, you don't have to do anything trading wise or matchup wise, but it's still very easy or comfortable for you to play against almost any champion. That makes him just so good because he's just a very strong champion, is tanky, has good damage, has silence, has damage reduction, and obviously he has the ultimate to just execute people. Gwen also, I would say she's getting better with the new items as well. Yeah, she's getting better with the new items. She's getting free penetration on top of that, because she was not getting void step anyways, and now she's getting free magic penetration. Since they did remove void step, but they put on every finished item magic penetration, so that's major. I mean, she will have naturally more damage, and she has crown as well, so she's one of the best tank killers, and she has insane amount of damage and sustain. That's why Chamro is actually very good, the anti-heal item for bruisers against champions like Gwen, for example. Camille is one of the best split pushers, high mobility, and her ultimate is amazing to catch people, and obviously her dual power in the 1vs1 is also good. Gragas, a very versatile AP champion that you can either run as a full tank, hybrid, or full AP, depending on what your team needs. And yeah, he's a lot of playmaking, has a lot of damage, or he can be a good frontline with a lot of crowd control. Vladimir, obviously, in the late game, one of the most disgusting champions with tons of damage and way too much sustain. Then we have Jax. Jax is a champion that is probably one of the strongest late game champion, one of the best duelist, and one of the best split pushers, and he doesn't have a weak early game, to be fair. So he's overall very, very good and can be annoying when he's constantly split pushing and people have to deal with him. Now we have Fiora, who is, I would say she's very similar to Jax, minus the fact that Fiora is way harder to play skill-wise, and she needs really good matchup knowledge to make her work. Plus, on top of that, her team fighting isn't as good. So Fiora is way harder to use and doesn't excel at what she has to do as a split pusher in comparison to a Jax. A Jax split pushes, he has way more pressure and he's way stronger late game. Plus in teamfights he's still useful. Then we have Riven, high mobility. I mean, Fiora is still very good, obviously, as a lane bully. Has true damage as well, and 1vs1 she's excellent. Riven, high mobility, high burst damage. Jace is a strong lane bully, but falls off in the late game, but he has very good poke damage. Shen is a very good teamfight oriented champion thanks to his taunt and thanks to his ultimate. Then we have Darius. Darius with his sustain, being a juggernaut, he is pretty tanky and still does a lot of damage, so that's a plus side for him. Then we have Seth, who is also juggernaut. He has a lot of crowd control and playmaking potential with his abilities, and then he's tanky and he has true damage on his second ability. Renekton is a strong lane bully, but I feel like in this meta he isn't as good in solo queue because he's falling off in late game. But overall, strong lane bully and overall pretty versatile. And then we have Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo is a very good meat shield. Then Malphite with his ultimate is amazing in team fights to turn the fight around or initiate, and on top of that he's an amazing counter to physical damage since he can stack up armor, and the more armor he has the more damage he will do, plus the second ability naturally gives him more armor thanks to his passive. Sion is also a great teamfight oriented champion that also is tanky, has a lot of crowd control, and can be used as a split pusher. So you can play him either way, or you can play like a mixed combination playstyle where you're just pushing and then you're using your ultimate to join team fights. Or you're just YOLOing and just always go for turrets. Depends what you want to do. Wukong, a very strong Baron laner, has a lot of sustain, has amazing teamfight potential thanks to his ultimate. Now we have Tank Yasuo. Yasuo in S tier is tank Yasuo, because tank Yasuo is disgusting. Yeah, has a lot of damage, has a lot of sustain, is tanky, and obviously provides decent amount of crowd control with his perma knockups. Swain in the Baron lane. I think this champion is doing fine overall, and teamfight wise provides a lot of crowd control. And he becomes very tanky in the late game when you have Road of Age and Rylai's. Yone, I think Yone has the potential to be very good in the Baron lane as well. His late game is obviously very good, but he has a lot of, I would say, harder matchups. And he needs to scale. Then we have Teemu, who's a strong lane bully, but he is pretty easy to bully later on, like past level 5, and he falls off in the mid lane, in the mid game, sorry. In the late game, he can become very annoying though when he is like shrooming the entire map, especially around major objectives like Baron or Elder. Now we have Zed. I think Zed can be fine in the Baron lane. If you guys want the challenge, want the skill matchup, and you want to outplay people, and you can definitely play him. He's a strong skill pusher and good in the 1vs1, but obviously against more tanky champions, he will definitely struggle to kill them. Cannon is a strong lane bully and also good in team fights, but 1vs1 he kind of falls off. Akshan also very strong lane bully and is good in team fights, but he is pretty easy to punish when the enemy jungler just wants to camp him and punish him. Now Aurelia is also a skill based champion, but she has a lot of tricky / hard matchups. Pantheon is a champion that is strong in the early game, but very snowball reliant. But yeah, with his ultimate, he can definitely snowball and try to get some picks off. Vayne also strong lane bully. I think I had Vayne in B tier the last time. Nah, doesn't matter, whatever. Yeah, Vayne strong lane bully and excellent in the 1vs1, but same problem like Akshan. She is easy to punish. Like, let's say the enemies have like Camille plus Evelyn, Camille plus Kha'Zix. You are dead meat. You are just dead meat. Now we have Urgot. Urgot is pretty tanky, strong in the early game, and a great counter against tanks, thanks to his percentage damage. Volibear overall, great frontline, good initiator, but I think he is losing a lot of matchups. But overall, he's obviously pretty tanky. Singe weak in the early game, but excellent in team fights with his playmaking potential and him being tanky and doing a lot of damage. After the nerfs in the Hecarim second ability, I think trading wise 1vs1, Hecarim isn't that strong anymore. But I mean, if you want, you can still play him. Tryndamere, weak in the early game, strong in the late game, but very, very scaling. Lucian, same explanation as Vayne, but he is even easier to punish and easier to kill 1vs1. Then we have Grace, very scaling, but late game, kind of one-shotting truck. Nasus, too scaling, weak in the early game, and Kayle, you guys know it by now. Kayle is a champion that is super duper weak in the early game and very easy to punish, and she sucks in the 1vs1 against a lot of champions. And if you play Kayle, any one of you guys who is a Kayle main, not mid lane, not jungle, Kayle Baron lane main, you guys are masochist. Okay, anyways, let's hop into jungle. So for jungle, the pick of the patch is definitely gonna be Evelynn. This champion is absolutely broken with Mejais and Crown. She is just one-shotting everyone, has snowball potential, is insane. And I played her one time, I had 1100 ability power. Literally one-tapping everyone on the map. This champion is actually the champion of the patch. She is permaban. It's a permaban. You guys need to learn her if you guys want to abuse a very strong assassin jungler, because in solo queue people are naturally inting to stealth champions because they have dogshit positioning and dogshit map awareness. So everyone is gonna into Evelynn, and once she's snowballing with Mejais, Evelynn beforehand was already snowballing. Like if she gets like 2 kills in the early game, a few kills here and there, she was already way too strong. But now with the Mejais, when she's getting early kills, you are in for a treat. To just get one-shotted, just taking it from the back. Lucky. Evan is like, bam, bam, get fucked, you bitches. Anyways, let's move on to Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is my go-to jungler right now, since I'm not that good on Evelynn. I don't play Evelynn that much. Honestly, maybe I should learn Evelynn at this point because she is disgusting. But yeah, Kha'Zix is one of the best assassins in the game. With his stealth, with his one-shot potential, with the mobility. Same for Lee Sin, high burst damage, high jungle gank tempo in the early game where he's just spam ganking everyone, invading, one-shotting, high mobility, too much sustain. You guys know it by now. You guys are getting destroyed by Lee Sin as well in solo queue. I know it. You guys don't have to deny it. Then we have Twitch. Twitch with a new Ruined Hurricane, even better than beforehand. Stealth champion yet again. You're farming or you're cheesing free kills in the early game. And then in the late game, he is the definition of a 1 versus 9 champion in the late game. One good team fight, he can wipe the entire team on his own with a nice place ultimate, shooting on everyone, just one-shotting them. And Twitch with a new Hurricane is disgustingly strong. Diana with Mejais, OP, 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 one-shot assassin, S+ tier. Gragas, same explanation, one-shot, S+ tier. Then we have Aatrox. Aatrox is still a very strong bruiser that does tons of damage and has a lot of sustain, S+ tier. Next one is going to be Fiddlesticks. I think Fiddlesticks is S tier. He's S tier. He is not S+ tier. I think his jungle clear speed is decent. It's not that fast. His ganks can be good. He has a lot of AoE damage. But he's very team orientated that he needs kind of some setup. Or the best case is he has some setup, and the meta right now is there are so many assassins that are just gonna kill Fiddlesticks too easy. Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, Evelynn, Diana. If Fiddlesticks doesn't have good teammates, it's very hard for Fiddlesticks to carry on his own. So I think S tier is appropriate. And remember, if you play this champion, you need Awakened Soul Stealer very early on, because the ultimate cooldown is so high, and without the ultimate, Fiddlesticks sucks. Fiddlesticks needs ultimate for any fight, and his ultimate cooldown in the early game is so high, so Awakened Soul Stealer is a must on this champion. Next one is gonna be Yone. Yone, one of the best late game scaling champion, a lot of playmaking potential, S tier. Morgana, the fastest jungle clear speed, insane power farming into poking damage, into crowd control, into really good team fight, S tier. Hecarim, high mobility, really good sustain and damage, S tier. You guys definitely notice the resistance nerf, because I had to consider if I still want to put him S+ tier. I would not ban Hecarim anymore. I honestly would not ban Hecarim anymore. If I had to choose between champions, I ban Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, Evelynn, and Twitch. These are the 4 champions I probably would ban every single time if I have to. And Hecarim is not one of them. I think dealing with Hecarim is more fun than dealing with the other champions. Then we have Wukong, an excellent teamfight oriented champion with a lot of sustain. I think Kayn is kinda inconsistent, especially if you wanna play the blue Kayn. And because of the inconsistency of getting blue form quick, I think he's S tier. I mean, obviously, if you're getting blue form at 3 or 4 minutes, it's a wrap. But otherwise, you have some games where the bot lane is just playing safe and you can't really get stacks. So if you play against enemies that are playing safe or that don't have that many ranged champions, it's hard to play him. And then Red Kayn, also very situational. You need like a very tanky or like a lot of melee champions where you can stack it, and they don't have too much core control. Fizz is an insane assassin with Mejais as well, but kinda too scaling, I would say. Jarvan, excellent jungler, has a lot of damage. Depending on how you play him, you want to play him like a burst assassin, full lethality / crit, or do you want to play him tanky? You can play him teamfight orientated. He's an amazing initiator and engager, or like just one-shotting with the ambush playstyle. Overall, very good and high jungle tempo. And with that, I mean he can gank level 2 already and just try to spam gank. Ribbon, high mobility, high burst damage. Then we have Jace. Jace is a champion that has a lot of poking and burst damage. Pantheon, excellent for snowballing since he can spam gank. Kind of thought of in the late game though. Volibear, tanky, really good for setup and really good for initiating, engaging, diving turrets. Shyvana, her problem is that she is not an amazing ganker, but she can focus on power farming and then she becomes a 1 versus 9 carry machine, just running everyone down. Vi, a very consistent pick that is tanky, has good jungle clear speed, has good initiation, can gank good, same for Xin Zhao. Then we have Olaf, that is an amazing counter against crowd control and tanky compositions, but sucks against compositions that have a lot of mobility. And then we have Shen, who is a strong teamfight oriented champion with the ultimate and with a taunt. Amumu with the global, why was I saying global ultimate? With a huge teamfight ultimate is very good. Ramos, spam ganking champion that is super tanky and amazing counter against physical damage. Dr. Mondo, great meat shield. Nunu, very good at ganking, has a lot of crowd control and is tanky as well. Echo with Mejais, also amazing. That's why I moved him up as well, because now his one-shot potential is nuts. It is nuts, his one-shot potential, but he's obviously very scaling. Neela, pretty scaling, but when she has 3 items, she has a lot of sustain, shielding, and an amazing teamfight orientated ultimate. So her carry potential, or her 1 vs 9 potential, is actually very good, but obviously in the early game she isn't that good. Then we have Fiora, who is a strong early game champion that can go for skirmishes and try to snowball. Hard to play in teamfights though, when the problem is that jungle clear is too slow and she's very, very scaling. And I don't think she's a champion that runs Mejais. She's not an assassin. She's like AP bruiser, kind of like an AP bruiser. Camille, slow jungle clear speed, slow tempo in the early game, but excellent ultimate to catch people. Zed, high skill ceiling, but has some nice gank angles thanks to his ultimate. Akshan, very cheesy, but can work to snowball and just gank left and right on the map thanks to his stealth. Aurelia, also really good damage and mobility. Darius is tanky, has a lot of sustain. Then we have Urgot, very good jungle clear speed and good ganker. Then he's also great frontliner and playmaker in teamfights. Rengar kind of inconsistent, that if he's snowballing, he can one-shot people left and right. But if he's not, then he is just a little tiny cat that is just gonna say meow, meow, I can't do anything. Grace with a new Bloodthirster, actually very good, but he's still very scaling champion, that's for A tier. Yasuo, I think Yasuo is still fine. You need the right setup though, and he's very scaling. Lilia also very scaling champion, but can be very good in team fights in the mid and late game. Kayle is a champion that benefits from playing her in the jungle by being able or being allowed to AFK farm, power farm, and trying to scale. And then in the late game, honestly, with the new Runa and Hurricane, can also be very good, by the way. Kayle jungle with new Runa and Hurricane build. I could try that out. Then we have Mr. Nautilus. Either you're running him tanky or AP, a lot of crowd control and decent amount of damage. And he's tanky. Good playmaker, Master Yi, snowball hit or miss. Either he's snowballing, he's running everyone down, or he's not and he's useless. But even when he's fed, there's a problem that if the opponents have crowd control, they can absolutely stop him. Pyke in the jungle, kinda cheesy, similar to Lee Sin, but way weaker and shit jungle clear speed. Then we have Sinch, a very cheesy pick that has great gank potential, but obviously it's not that strong in the early game and needs to scale. And then we have Warwick. I think this champion is just not that good. Snowball orientated, cheesy champion, not that good in team fights. Tryndamere to scaling, and Jax is also to scaling in my opinion. But that's good for the jungle. Let's hop right into mid lane. Okay, let's move on with mid lane. For mid lane, pick up the patch is still gonna be Vladimir. That champion is still disgustingly broken, having too much sustain and too much damage in the late game. Next one, Akali. Akali with Mejais in the mid lane is insane. Her one-shot potential is disgusting right now. Then we have Annie. Annie is still obviously amazing in team fights thanks to her ultimate, has really good burst damage. Lux has a lot of utility, has the bind, has the shielding, has a lot of burst damage. Diana with Mejais also just one-shotting everyone. Kathleen with Mejais and Crown, very good potential as well. Obviously, he is a very scaling champion, right? But in the late game, it's very hard to kill him, and with the Mejais fully stacked, he's just one. You guys don't understand, he doesn't have to get Void Staff anymore, so he has one free item spot. You're just getting Crown then as well, which is gonna give you the Banshee Veil, like the spell shield, plus the damage reduction, which is insane. I mean, all the AP champions, they no longer have to get Void Staff, because the items itself, each item has magic penetration percentage. Yes, the problem about this is tanks. If you play mages against a full tanky composition, you can't rush Void Staff anymore. Yes, that's a problem in the mid game, but in the late game it doesn't really matter whether you have 40% or 30% magic penetration percentage, because you have one additional item which is going to benefit you a lot. So you just have to get magic penetration in the early game, flat magic penetration in the early game instead, like an Infinity Orb, like a Pendant for example, or Awakened Soul Stealer to make up for it. But you're getting free penetration on every item, by the way, and you have one item slot for free now. Then we have Yone, one of the best playmaking hyper carry in the late game, just one-shotting everyone, and Bloodthirsts are also insane on him. Then we actually, I should play Yasuo with Bloodthirster as well. Probably insane as well. Tank Yasuo with Bloodthirster, probably unkillable. I should try that out as well. Then we have Mr. Z as well. Z in team Z also very good assassin, amazing split pusher and just one shots backline. Corki, amazing poking damage, really insane in team fights thanks to the package. Yasuo, or should I say tank Yasuo, is broken, tanky, too much sustain, too much damage, and very easy to play. Even I can play tank Yasuo. I wonder how I would build him with tank Yasuo. Wait, right now the build is Charge Blade, Divine Sandra, Thornmail, Twin Guard, maybe Bloodthirster as well, last item. Because then you have so much sustain on top of that. Let's give you attack speed, my attack damage. Pretty nutty. Now you're just going normal full crit build with Bloodthirster, I guess. Zoe, amazing poking damage. Katarina, I mean, you guys already know the one reset, and you just wipe everyone. Ahri, high mobility. You guys can see I moved a few of those champions down to S tier, because I don't think they are as broken. I mean, they're still very good champions, but not as broken. Ahri, high mobility assassin with a lot of playmaking thanks to her taunt. Then we have Akshan, one of the strongest lane bullies and snowballing champions in the mid lane. Swain, very scaling champion with a lot of damage and crowd control, and he's tanky as well. Twisted Fate with the ultimate, very good to snowball on the map. Vex is an amazing assassin with a lot of crowd control thanks to her fear. Then the ultimate with the reset mechanic, jumping in, doing a lot of damage. Orianna and Ziggs are amazing utility poking mages that are good in team fights. Fizz is an amazing AP assassin that can one-shot people but is scaling, obviously, and not that strong in the early game, in the laning phase. Gregor's overall very solid AP champion with a lot of playmaking. Galio is a champion that has a lot of playmaking. He has the knock-up, he has the taunt, he has the global ultimate to join team fights and knocking people up and giving them a shield. Has good poking damage and is tanky against mages as well. Galio might be a very good pick in this meta right now, because a lot of AP champions are strong. But Galio has built-in magic damage reduction on his second ability. Might be useful. You guys can tell me what you guys think. Lucian. Mr. Lucian, high mobility burst damage. Aurelia, high mobility snowball orientated assassin. Karma, real utility, has, honestly, Karma sucks more now because of the anti-shield. AP champions can get anti-shield. This is definitely gonna hurt Karma and other shielding champions. But Yakama has good utility, good poking damage, and very good in teamfights. Oh, forgot to drink my coffee, by the way. My coffee, need the energy. Vega. Next one is me. Vega, very scaling. Very strong in the late game though. And his event horizon, the cage, is obviously very good in teamfights if you can place it good. Jay, strong lane volley, really good poking damage. Mila is a decent duelist and is amazing teamfights, but obviously very scaling, and she has a lot of hard matchups. Pyke in the mid lane I think is still playable, but definitely not as good because of his jungle clear not being as good anymore. But when he's snowballing, he can just gank left and right and controls the map completely. Echo is too scaling in my opinion. Takes a lot of time and he's getting bullied by a lot of champions, but obviously in the late game his one-shot potential is nuts. Morgana also very scaling in the early game in the mid lane, has good poking damage though, and good crowd control. Aurelion Soul, some nice roaming and teamfight potential. Gwen too scaling in the early game, but obviously in the late game very strong. Then we have Brand. Brand is an amazing poking champion that has a lot of burst damage and decent amount of crowd control with a stun, but he's kind of short range and can't roam in the early game. Riven, high mobility, duelist, high mobility duelist with a lot of burst damage, really good as a cheesy pick to counter some champions. Singe can be good in a more team fight orientated environment, since he is very good in team fights and he is very good at catching people with the second ability and the third ability, and his skirmishing power at level 3 is obviously also good. So he wants to rotate and try to pick off people. Garen, overall a very solid pick, tanky, and can be good against melee champions. Cannon, amazing team fights, but not that good in the early game, and his wave clear is also not that good. Kai'Sa, very scaling, but when she has like 4 items, Kai'Sa can be a really good hyper carry. Pantheon, strong in the early game, weak in the late game. Amazing ultimate to snowball though, and is obviously very strong in the early game to cheese. Honestly, Fiddlesticks, I'm not sure how good Fiddlesticks is in mid lane. I just put him in 80 because I was like, maybe he's playable, maybe you guys can play him, try it out. You guys can tell me. I feel like he sucks against in 1v1 against champions that can cancel his second ability, but he's probably playable. Because he can just maybe farm with the first and third ability, and the second ability can also be good for wave clear, and then he just tries to cheese with a nice ultimate. I mean, I think it's playable. That's why I just put them 8 here. Kayle, 2 scaling. Lilia, 2 scaling. Let's say it louder. 2 scaling. Seraphine, also a champion that I think is very weak in the early game, sucks against a lot of champions. But the one good ultimate can be obviously very good in a team fight. One nice ultimate, boom, you can carry the team fights. So that's why definitely also playable. Let's move on to ADCs. ADCs, I like this part, by the way. ADCs and support is so quick because there are not that many champions. I don't know why though. Like, look at this. Look at mid lane part. Look at how many jungle champions we have. Look at how many barrel lane champions we have. And now look at the ADCs. Look at the ADCs. You're non-existent. You're non-existent even though your guys broken. Bot lane. Yeah, it's still bot lane meta, by the way. It's kind of between jungle versus bot lane. It's kind of like who carries harder, but most of the times better bot lane wins. Because bot lane is broken. What can I say? Kai'Sa is broken as fuck. AP Kai'Sa has way too much damage, has really good poking damage as well. You can run crown on this stupid bitch as well. She is too good. Kai'Sa is just too good. I talked with Random about this as well. If you want to win in solo queue, you have a few options. Either you're jungle main and you're abusing OP assassins, or you're playing Kai'Sa, you're Kai'Sa OTP. You can take it how you want. Okay, Ezreal, amazing late game poking champion, high mobility. Lucian, high mobility, really good damage. Corki, amazing poking damage and package for team fighting. Jhin, insane burst damage. This guy has insane burst damage and very strong in the early game. Tristana, one of the best late game champions, just running you down. Samira with Bloodthirster, even better right now. Very good teamfight champion with the right setup though. Isn't that good in the early game necessary. Draven with Bloodthirster, really fucking good. but early snowball orientated, not that good in the late game in comparison to other champions. Neela with Bloodthirster, also sexy hexy. What can I say? This champion, just one good ultimate, so much sustain. I mean, what does she? So much sustain, so much shielding. You just need like a Rakan, like a Giga Chid Rakan initiating for you. You follow, boom, 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 sayonara. Okay, next one, Caitlyn. Very solid champion overall. I mean, she's just very solid champion, what can I say? Misfortune, strong in the early game, very good ultimate in team fights. Saya, excellent self-peel and good counter. Like, if people are chasing you, can just use the feathers and put it all back and doing tons of damage. Varus, in good utility, good poking damage and good crowd control. Karma, good poking champion. I mean, if you guys need or want an APC, Karma obviously can be good poking champion. Same for Lux and same for Orianna. Then we have Ashe with the ultimate, good utility, but isn't really a hyper carry. Twitch, very weak. Honestly, you can summarize these four always together. That's why I put them next to each other, by the way, because they have all things in common. Laning phase, dog shit weak. That's why they're easy to punish. Plus, they need an enchanter that's buffed them up. Without enchanter, not as good. But late game with enchanter, OP, just running you down. So same explanation for all four of them. Bam, summarize. Make it quick for the viewers. Morgana, very similar, like Morgana and Brand and Vega. They're just weaker APCs. Morgana is weaker in the early game and has worse wave clear. Brand has less range and Vega is too scaling, but he does have really good utility and poking damage in the late game though, if you have the right team setup. So they're kind of team fight or team setup orientated, or they need the right team comp. And then we have Senna, who I don't think is a good ADC because she's too scaling. She's way better as a support with the right team setup. So for support, we have pick of the patch is still gonna be Yuumi. You guys can see I've moved a lot of champions down. Yuumi, permaban. Yuumi and Lulu are permaban in high elo. Every single game they are permaban. Because the Yuumi with a hyper carry is GG. It's too easy. Like Yuumi can sit on an ADC, she can sit on like a hyper carry here, like Yuumi with, I don't know, with fucking Twitch or with fucking Aatrox just running you down, you can't do anything. Then we have Pyke. Pyke is an amazing playmaking solo queue champion as a support. Just roams around, gets people, picks people off. Then he has the ultimate as well to just reset, killing everyone. Lulu, same explanation as Yuumi, but not as strong. Then we have Soraka in the right team setup. She just needs one tank, to be fair. Too much healing, way too much healing. Even though, yeah, we have Chemro right now. I mean, people were getting executed. People were getting Enter here, but it wasn't enough. Now the tank section. Very strong initiators, slash engagers, slash roamers, slash playmakers. Alistar, AoE knockup. Then he has the damage reduction as well on his ultimate. Leona, very excellent to initiate on single target champions, plus very good to counter enchanters. Then the ultimate as well to initiate. Tanky, Thresh playmaking potential with the hook, with the fling, with the lantern to save people, and with the ultimate to zone people away. Gragas with the ultimate and with the dash, Rakan with the knockup and with the taunt, Nautilus with the hook, with the ultimate, and then with his auto attacks that can root people, Galio with the knockup and with the taunt. Janna, honestly, I was wrong. I was wrong. Even with Harmonic Echo, she's dog shit. She's dog shit! I missed the old Janna! I take it back! I mean, I did play her one time. I was like, it was fine. But I played her a few more times and then I was like, she sucks! Like, I mean, I kind of figured that out, but I wanted to hype her up for the tier list. Not gonna lie. I'm not kidding. I wanted to hype the champion up for the tier list, but she's dog shit now. I should move her down to A tier because she sucks. Like, not gonna lie, her old tornado was way better because you could charge it longer and then it would fly further, I would say. Second ability, you could, I mean, I think second ability doesn't matter too much. I think the new second ability is better, but the shielding sucks. Shielding is the biggest issue because you can't even shield your hyper carry. Let's say you play dual Q with a very strong ADC or your jungler's fed. You can't even shield them because you're shielding the inter instead. You can't even target shield. And your ultimate, yes, it is nice that it's not cancelable, but the healing is way less now because they nerfed the base and the scaling. So Jenna, honestly, I should put her A tier. She sucks. Can I change this? I can change it actually. Come on, I do it. I do it for you guys. She sucks ass. What can I say? Nami, good though. Nami, hey Nami. Good playmaker, bubble ultimate. Karma, you guys already know. You really good utility, poking, shielding, ultimate. Lux, same. Really good poking, shielding. And then she has to bind as well. I mean, very good burst damage. I mean, it's just very good champion. Morgana is kind of like the Walmart version of Lux, I would say. Less damage, less utility. Honestly, less utility than fucking Lux, because Lux shielding is broken as fuck. I mean, Morgana is still fine, but it's just a Walmart version of Lux. What can I say? Ashe, honestly, support Ashe, honestly, can be very good as a playmaker with her slowing down, with her slow end, with her ultimate. Need the right setup though, you need a tank at least. Same for Senna, you need one tank at least. She's like a second carry with a lot of utility, so that's fine. Sona rework is not out yet, but Sona overall, late game very good, weak in the early game. On very item orientated, but has pretty good playmaking potential. Braum also good playmaking potential, but he is better against like poking champions, I would say. Set very gold hungry, like Set and Shen are Shen and Swain are champions that are very gold hungry, and they benefit more from being like in a solo lane instead of like as a support. But I mean, he has some nice playmaking. Jenna, I already said it. Brand, kinda cheesy, AP poking support, I mean, can be playable, not a fan of it. Seraphine, very weak in the early game, but her late game with the ultimate, one good ultimate can be very nice. Then we have Blitzcrank, kinda hit or miss, playmaking champion, can be good or can be dog shit. Amumu, I mean, he has some value thanks to his ultimate, but he's very weak in the early game. Shen has a taunt, has the ultimate, so that can be nice, but very gold hungry champion because he's not gonna be tanky. Swain needs a lot of gold as well to scaling. I mean, he does provide decent amount of crowd control, but I'm not a fan of Swain support. But yeah, that's good for the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The changes. AP meta. We do have AP meta right now. AP meta thanks to the new broken items, Mejais, Crown. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Tell me your opinion down below in the comments and what you think about the changes in the meta. And I see you guys. Bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.